Welcome to the show and happy Thursday, everybody. We are coming to you a little bit later than usual. There's been lots going on the back end, but rest assured, we are here updating you each and every single day, as we promised, Monday through Friday. And the markets are about as red as my dress right now. People are wondering what's next. Is Bitcoin going to continue to tumble? Where are the critical levels to watch, and what is happening right now? And as usual, you all know we're staying cool, calm, and collected on the show. We're just following the plan, guys. Trip, our lead analyst from the Capital Mindset, gave you the map to Bitcoin, and so far so good, right? All of his indicators that he uses and different types of analysis that you don't usually see on other channels, we've been able to follow that. They've actually been echoing Bitcoin's moves really, really closely, including the most recent bump and run pattern that we saw play out. So you can go back and watch our previous lives. It's actually really awesome because then you can see what we've been talking about up until this point. And if you're just tuning in now or you're tuning in later because we didn't come in at normal time, you can watch the replay. Go back, guys. Now is the time to reassess, figure out where your entries are going to be. If you're already in the market, then just to understand where we're at in general, right? In the macro sense, medium term and shorter term timeframes. So what's happening in the news is pretty interesting. It's pretty cool to see. We've been watching it really closely all day. We had a lot of meetings today, which is why we're running a little bit later than usual. But a lot of things happened in that time. Google came out and said they wanted to get in front of this. And they said, we are going to start regulating non-custodial wallets. Okay. They came out and said, no, we need to get a hold of this. We need to get in front of this. This was the news. Google forcing AML and KYC on non-custodial wallets in the US, right? They're saying you needed a federal license for this, which would have impacted a lot of apps on the Play Store, right? And so everybody got all up in arms. Long story short, Google had to come right out right after that and say, actually, just kidding. No, we're not going to do that. It's all good. We scrapped that idea. And then recently, Google got dethroned. This is the chain of events, right? And right after they said, okay, we're not going to do that anymore because too many people complain. It's too big now. Too many people are into this thing. Google was dethroned as Bitcoin took the throne for the 5th largest asset in the world. So yeah, Google is having a fit about it. And they don't like that. They don't like that. But that's what's happening, guys. And this is all happening right as the search terms for how to buy crypto and altcoins are starting to tick up as retail is coming into play, right? They're starting to come back. Things are starting to heat up. So what we're going over today is just basically to keep you guys cool and calm and let you know what's happening on that front. We're going to update Bitcoin. We will be going over Injective and Solana, which are two the charts that we're going to show that have potential setups brewing that could be really, really good. And just in general, we're just going to review our setups, guys. We're just going to go over things. We have some requests from the trading group. So we're just here to chat today to calm the nerves, but also to explain why this is a critical level per the title. So our title today, we went back and forth, right? Because a lot has happened today, but Bitcoin price at critical support, will it hold? And that's what you want to know. And that's what we're going to go over today. So if you like that, smash the like. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know if you're there at all. I know we're coming to you later than usual. Also, this dip also in general started, right? As the charts already indicate things well before news oftentimes, but PPI came out at 3.3%, which was higher than expectations. And then we got more bearish fabricated news. So remember that bearish news can be spun up at the drop of a dime, right? If they say, hey, we want to create some bearish narratives, go. So they took this clip completely out of context from Scott Bessent, right? And they made it look as if he just came out and said that the US would not be buying crypto. But that was a clip from a while back. And all he was explaining was that the treasury would be accumulated from budget neutral Bitcoin, right? Like seized Bitcoin and things that didn't require taxpayer dollars. Just recycled news in a different context to push it lower on this dip. We want you guys to pick up on these kind of trends on this channel because you're more savvy than the average investor. So that's what we're looking at, guys. We're looking at this narrative as it plays out in real time and as they take things out of context to make it seem worse. including my red dress, right? Like this is all meant to force the price of Bitcoin down further. No, but on a real note, like let's just have a look and reassess and just see what the charts say, and don't get fooled by the narratives. Don't tune into the noise in the news and let that shake you out. All right. That's all I want to say. So I want to welcome people to our late live today. Al-Maneem, you made it. Good evening. You're right on time. Yes, you are. James, what's up? We can always count on you. Always count on you. Busy week. It's been a super busy week. We've missed you though as well. The KYC rules. I didn't know they took back that. They did. They took it back and they put their tail between their legs in shame. Nobody was happy about that. In fact, I am a builder as well. Our app was just approved on the App Store for ATH for all-time high vodka rewards. And we have a non-custodial wallet. So that would have affected us as well. But Google has just approved that, as well as Apple as of last week, which is huge. And so, nobody wants to see that. We don't want you to get out in front of innovation and stifle it. We want you to help it thrive. So Google took it back, got dethroned, and that's how we're doing it now. We're just going forward. We're just going forward, steady, slowly, but surely. And of course, in this crypto world, we have weathered many storms. There will be many more to come, and we'll get through it, and we'll keep going. And that's just it. So DC the Dude, Portland, Oregon. Hey, is it nice there this time of year? Or is it still rainy? Is it really rainy most of the time? It's got to be beautiful, though. I did used to go there sorry about that. I did used to go there to cabin. About like when I used to live in the US, and it was absolutely beautiful. And they have like blackberries along the river that you could pick. And man, Oregon is gorgeous. I'm just going to say that. So if you're going to look at any TA on alts today, we'll be looking at TA on alts today, ZBCN. All right. We will note that DC the Dude, we've got some other requests from the trading group. So we'll see if we get to that. If not, we will put it down for tomorrow. And so on that note, I'm going to add Trip to the stage from the Capital Mindset. Trip, how you doing?
Hey, Megan, doing pretty good. Thank you. How are you today?
It's been a day, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been exciting.
Yeah. A lot of action happening. We got this dip here on Bitcoin, and people are wondering, is this it, or are we going lower, right? And so that's mainly what we want to jump on today, to kind of like let you guys in on what we're looking at, as well as some of the alts that we're looking at. So what do you say, Trip? Shall we jump right into it?
Yeah, we can start taking a look at dominance again, as our usual routine.
Right. Let's do it.
Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay. So Bitcoin dominance again. We're doing the same comparison with the 4-hour and the 1 week. It's not really a comparison. It's just a zoomed out view over here on the 1 week chart. And then we're looking at all the inner workings of what's happening in this area over here on the 4-hour chart. So recently we talked about this bear flag breaking lower. We got that break below the lower trend line of the bear flag, and then the break below the 50-week SMA. And then the 0.5 was also a critical level to watch for. So all of these things have happened so far as the bearish moves go. And now we're at the 0.618 at around 59%, getting a bit of a local bounce right here. So we had talked about in our previous live that we were having this bullish divergence on the RSI during this last dip. So it's oversold conditions, plus you got some bullish divergence. We were expecting some kind of a bounce to happen after this divergence was printed. So now we're getting a bit of that bounce. It doesn't really seem to be going anywhere quite yet. So there's still a chance that we continue in this downtrend. When I zoom into this, let's take a look on the 1-hour chart. You can see that there was a bit of a double bottom that was starting to form down here, but now there's some weird volatility that seems to be happening. I'm not too sure about that double bottom idea at this point. So this is something we're going to have to monitor to see if there's potentially this is turning into a bearish pennant of some kind. If we could draw this in really quick. Again, this is just a very early part of the pattern, so we don't have a lot of data yet, but potentially you have something of a bearish pennant forming. So that would be a great idea for altcoins if this was to break to the downside, and we just see continuation lower here and below this long-term yellow trend line on the weekly chart over here on the right.
All right, so let's continue to monitor that as we go. As usual, this is our routine, guys. We will be checking in on that tomorrow for our live tomorrow. And I want to remind you that our live will be at normal time tomorrow for sure. It's planned for 9:30 a.m. PST, 12:30 p.m. EST, and we'll be getting more in depth on that one. This is meant to be a quick update to let you guys know what's going on. Automatic, what's up? Good to be back. Good to have you back. Richard McRandall, I don't think I've seen you here before. Welcome to the show. We're just having a impromptu live session to update you on everything that's happening with Bitcoin right now.
Right, so we're going to jump into Bitcoin next. This is the Bitcoin 4-hour chart. This is another update from yesterday. We were looking for a move to this key resistance as the idea, at least in the short term, after we broke above the 4-hour 200 MA. So we got that move to the resistance. We had a bit of a pullback. It's not too unexpected. I mean, there's always some kind of selling activity that happens when you're about to test these key resistance levels. And it's very often, too, that Bitcoin will print a new all-time high, just barely, and then you get some sell pressure to come back as people are taking profits at that level. So now we've got a bigger structure forming potentially. This is a larger ascending triangle. After this last top move came in, we were able to draw this trend line across the top of the pattern here, and we're starting to build this ascending triangle structure. So now currently we're testing that 4-hour 200 MA as support. There is a chance that we still could roll over and test this lower trend line here. So I'd be cautious if you're looking for entry, but again, you're also really close to that level, that percentage wise, if we were to measure that move. Even if you entered here and you had some wiggle room down to this trend line, I mean, you're talking within a 1.57% margin of error for this trade already. So it's pretty manageable if you wanted to start scaling in this area. You'd be trusting that this lower trend line holds for the bullish pattern here, but so far it looks good. We're starting to get some buying activity holding on this 4-hour 200 MA. So that may be the only level that we needed to retest. Last time we came back down for this little pullback, let me zoom in a little bit here. This first pullback here that we were looking at after we had that first initial run up didn't really get a full pullback to that 200 MA on the 4-hour. So this could be that move that's finally filling in those blanks. And we also had a CME gap in this same area as well that has been filling for the past few hours now.
Right. Yeah, that's what everybody's been looking at on Crypto X, I guess you should call it now. So there you have it. Let's see here. Richard says Bitcoin 178K end September, middle of October. Could be. We have sort of a map that we've laid out. The trip is mapped out for Bitcoin, and we've shared a little bit of that on the YouTube channel here, but we have the in-depth analysis in the group. And I want to remind you guys, yesterday I talked about the flash sale that our group is 20% off. And I said for today, but actually, lucky for you, it's a 1-week long sale, and I got that wrong. So you've got 6 more days to join that flash sale. It's 20% off on our group. We want to be able to take as many people along for this ride as possible. So we're bringing you that opportunity. The link is in the description. We'd love to have you. And look, like, just keep tuning into these YouTubes. You get a lot of alpha here as it is. But if you want to take your trading to the next level and you want to actually learn how to hone in on your skills and potentially make those life-changing gains, join a group, learn how to do it. It's a really great atmosphere, and we'd love to have you. Johnny, let's see. Oh, Almanim, if you guys have chance to please show ETH on what's possible scenario for the time being. Okay, we got ETH as another request. Johnny Bravo, where would ADA drop when it cools down? So another request for ADA. Andrew, hope you're all having it. Yeah, you too, Andrew. We're a little bit later today, but it's good that you dropped by. Hope you're doing well. We're just talking about buying the Bitcoin dip. Do we buy it now? Do we wait? We just discussed a little bit about this ascending triangle on the 4-hour and what we're looking at for the 200 MA on the 4-hour as support potentially. And yeah, we're rocking it.
Right. Yeah. So we can actually jump into Ethereum next if you guys are ready for that already.
All right.
This is the next critical chart to pay attention right now. It seems to be leading most of the altcoins now that it's taken this break above the key resistance level here around $4,000. So as we were talking about yesterday too, we were looking for a move to the 1.272 fib resistance. These are fib extensions, and that's pretty much almost exactly where we got the rejection locally. So right now, I don't see a lot of trend changing ideas. I mean, we've had many red candles and little pullbacks along the way, and none of these pullbacks have led to a bearish move really to follow through. So in my opinion, ETH still looks good. People are buying the dip locally. This is a 1-day chart, right? So if you zoom into the smaller time frames, it might look like mayhem. It looks like it's rolled over and crashed. But again, you got to remember to zoom out and look at what the bigger picture is doing. This uptrend is still intact. I see no reason why we can't go any higher from here. I actually don't even expect that we're going to get a retest down to $4,000, and we're probably just going to keep moving higher above this main resistance level. So 48.30 is at the 1.272, and 48.68 is the all-time high for Ethereum. So really, we're just looking for that break and candle close above that 1.272 level, and then it would simultaneously be printing a higher high, or a new all-time high, I should say, for Ethereum.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, ETH, we also shared bits of the ETH map that Trip has made. And when I call it a map, it's basically indicators and fractals and mirror images that Trip has managed to put together to figure out what ETH could be doing. And it's followed it, I mean, to a T up until now. So that is also in the group for members. And it's really cool because it really has helped us stay on track as far as really knowing what to look for, right? It's not something you bet entirely on, but it sort of shows you the way that you should go if the previous fractal were to play out in the same way, right? So that's just a little bit of a hint about the ETH map that is in the group as well. And yeah, we've been rocking it with that. Michelle, DC the Dude says Theta and T Fuel. We got more Theta people in the house. What's up? Okay, if we have time, we got a lot of requests today. We thought we weren't going to get anybody here in the in the chat since we were totally off our time, but it's good to see new faces. Michelle, glad to be here. Thank you for the live. Hey, Michelle, thank you for joining. We love that you guys are tuned in, laser focus, eyes on the prize, right? Super. Yep. Super. Yes, it is on Munim. Yes, I've been bullish for 8 years. Jeremy, you are an OG if you've been bullish for 8 years. That's pretty awesome. That's a feat in and of itself. So congrats. All right.
We can take care of total 3 on the 1 day next if you want to get into that one.
Yep.
Okay, so right now we were talking about this bounce and a pullback at this key support level after it broke above this cup and handle. So this has been an ongoing chart that we've been watching for looks like at least 4 or 5 months or so now. So now we've tested this upper resistance level in this gray zone on total 3. That's pretty much around the $1.1 trillion market cap point for the chart. We're just still looking for that break above resistance for altcoins to really take off. We're expecting a strong move to this next level if we're to break out of this range locally. And this is pretty much the only thing holding it back, is that we have to deal with all the people taking profits as the prices are moving up. There's always some profit taking going on. So really, we're just waiting for that break. We've already had that pullback. So if we do get another pullback down to this level, it could change the structure a little bit. We have to be aware, I should say, of a double top scenario that could be a bearish sign. So the way it looks right now, you kind of have about a 50-50 chance of it choosing a direction in either way at this point. So it's something we got to pay attention to. It's really going to matter what Bitcoin's doing. So if our Bitcoin plan, as we talked about, continues to range inside of this structure, I see no reason why total 3 can't follow it along and pretty much remain just as bullish from this point on.
Right. Again, I talk about this in a few shows now, but we have that sort of PTSD from the last cycle and people just being afraid of this mega crash happening. And there's no reason to think that way as of right now. Right? You just take it level by level, but there's no reason to be bearish as it stands. So we're just following the charts as they're giving us the information. And that being said, like generally, dips in the bull markets are for buying, right? Depending on what your strategy is. But that's just how it's been for everything on the way up now. Let's see here. 68 co Bitcoin goes down, but Cardano goes up. That's right. That's right. Cardano is having its day in the sun. Finally, right? Yeah, it's doing good. Cardano is it's chugging along, so we're happy about that. And it's going to do very well this cycle, I'm sure. And Charles Hoskinson has a lot up his sleeve. I'll actually be hosting a fireside chat with the CEO of Midnight, so I can get all the deets on that for the airdrop. Let me know if you guys want me to ask any particular questions. But yes, Brian, ADA did hold strong. We're happy about that.
Perfect. The next one we're going to look at here is INJ. This has been a bit of a sleeper coin for a while. It had its time where it was very popular and everybody was talking about INJ and the potential for INJ. So now's your chance to buy down here on these bottom swings. You could call this a double bottom. You can call it a cup and handle. Really, the key thing is just breaking above this key resistance level for a breakout entry. And that could range somewhere between $15.30 and about $16.30 or so. So about $1 of lenience is what you'd want to give it here. But a lot of altcoins seem to be pretty much in the same area. Looking at total 3 again, right? Most of the things are up near resistance. We're waiting for that breakout. You look at INJ, it's the same idea. We're at resistance, waiting for the breakout. We do have a lower trend line here, and the 200 MA is still below the price action. You know, if we don't get that breakout right away, we could range inside of the pattern for a little bit longer. So that's really the only thing I'd be concerned about. It's just this local rejection and maybe coming down to test this lower trend line. If you were trying to add to a position that was longer term, this could just be a place to accumulate more of that entry for a DCA entry idea.
Right. And those are the entries we love on this channel. you know, the buying the bottom of the patterns, or you know, as is in this Injective. I think we talked about this yesterday in a setup for Turbo. And you know, potentially we have the chance to do that now. So the measured move on that looks pretty good.
Yeah. Measured move just to the top of the range here is about 116%. So it's definitely a very juicy trade to take advantage of if you get a chance to get that breakout entry. The bigger structure here, we have to keep in mind that this is still a low and this is a lower low still. So on the big picture, we still have a lot of work to do to turn this back into an uptrend on the primary trend here. This would be your primary trend, is what the bigger swings are doing here. So once we get up here, if we get that move to the top of the range, we might get a rejection, and then we could see another pullback all the way back down to see that higher low. But we also should talk about how Ethereum, we were talking about that same idea. We were looking for this low and then the lower low, and most of the market was waiting for another pullback to get that higher low entry that just never happened. So it's a very good chance we see the same thing happen with INJ, and this could be the actual bottom, and it doesn't have to go back for another pullback after things start taking off. In my opinion, once total 3 is broken out, all bets are off. I wouldn't put any limitations on how fast or how big the moves could be for these altcoins. It's really just a clear ride just to the next fib that we're looking for at the 1.272. So again, it's just enter these patterns now. You could get a move to the trade, or you could trade the move to the top of the range and take profit. And then you'd probably want to wait for more structure if you're a trader. Probably in the trading group, we would look for that move, potentially look for a short if it were to come back down to this level. But these are all things that we can consider later. But the way it looks now, we're on a bottom swing, looking for a move up for a swing high.
Right. So that is how you look at the bigger picture, and that's how you can evaluate how and when to get into Injective. But I really like the way Trip puts the patterns and the ideas together, and saying that everybody expected that massive pullback at that trend line for ETH, and it didn't happen. So it doesn't necessarily have to happen for any of the other coins too. And when we break that 1.13 trillion potential blue sky breakouts, all bets are off. So I like the way he ties up that analysis. You don't really see that anywhere else. I just want you guys to smash the like button if you appreciate that, and if you're enjoying these streams, because we love being here with you and talking about this stuff. So yeah, midnight. I know what you mean, Brian. It was a complicated airdrop. I still haven't even claimed mine. It's true. Then we have here DC the Dude. Trip is the chart, the GOAT. I agree. He's the Jedi Master. He's Jedi Trip. Yes. But yeah, will Lace Wallet do an app for iOS? Okay. Is that a question you want me to ask? I will entertain that. Like I said, like I really want to come with a lot of, when I'm doing my podcast from now on, like the one I did with Charles Hoskinson, I'd like for you guys to give me your questions beforehand so I can evaluate them and potentially ask them right then and there on the podcast. I think that's a really powerful model and can provide more value for you guys that way. So you have until October. Okay. Oh, that's good, because I don't feel like I'm doing that anytime soon. There's a lot of work involved there, but yeah, good stuff, guys. So Solana, big move come in. Let's check it out.
Yeah, so this is actually typically a bearish pattern, this rising channel idea, but we actually have a breakout entry above the rising channel, just because if we're going to enter into a bull market, as far as total 3 is concerned, we could be looking for these patterns to break in the opposite direction that they usually do break in. So on the flip side of that note, though, because this is still a rising channel, if we were to get rejected at this level like we are seeing currently, we would have to break below that 200 MA and then break below this channel for a bearish idea to be confirmed. But still, for now, we're going to be considering an aggressive breakout to the upside, as long as total 3 behaves, as long as Bitcoin behaves. So usually when you get a break in the opposite direction that these patterns are supposed to move, it ends up being a much bigger move in the opposite direction. So normally this would break down. And if you get a break to the upside, you're expecting a parabolic move. And then we're expecting probably a move to the top of the range at around 295 for Solana. And then we have these upper targets up here for fib extensions. 1.272 is at about 350. The 1.618 is about 419, and then the 2.0 is almost at a $500 mark for Solana. So definitely pay attention to this pattern. There's a lesser chance that it does break to the upside, but the point here is that when it does break to the upside, you want to be a part of that move, because it could be a very quick, profitable trade.
So Trips tips number 2, 3, 5. I don't know which one we're on now in this video, but if these rising channels break to the upside and these bullish conditions, as they sometimes do, it's an exponential move up. right? So we could be seeing that for Solana. So keep your eyes on that. And yeah, I see here Johnny says you're a Sol hater, Solana hater, ETH always. Look, I've always stuck by ETH. I say this every stream too. Like I was making streams about buying ETH when people were saying they were dumping it to buy Sol, and it really depends on your long-term strategy. Like I just understand that ETH is, you know, the most trusted stable financial layer of the internet, right? And that's what all the big guys are using. That's what most of the stablecoin volume is based on. So yeah, I mean, why would you fade ETH, right? But there is another saying that says, don't hate it, don't date it, just trade it. So if you want to be a trader, then potentially there's a big move to capture here on Solana where you could have your ETH in your long-term bags and you can be biased and partial to that ETH and you can hold a lot of ETH because you believe in it more. But potentially the trade on Solana could be as good or equally or better than Ethereum, right? That's the idea, that you switch and you try to compound those gains, which Trip will explain much better than I will. But yes, thank you, DC the Dude. Smash the like. That's right. DJ and Brian, there's $1 billion treasury for Solana being touted. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Like this will all happen. I mean, it's happened for ETH. It's happened for Bitcoin now, XRP. Like all of these coins, they're going to get their treasuries. They're going to get their ETFs, and it's just starting now. The mass explosion, right? The exodus. Galaxy and 2 other entities. Yeah. So maybe Solana is next to have the spotlight on in a big way again.
Right. Yeah. Solana, I think, is going to do a lot of surprising things. So like you were saying before about trying to accumulate or trying to outperform Ethereum, potentially that could be your device, right? So you trade Solana. If it moves up faster than Ethereum, then you can roll those profits into Ethereum. So you're just using it, right? Just use Solana just to gain more Ethereum. That's really the point of what a lot of these traders do, is they're trying to accumulate more Bitcoin. So they'll trade the smaller cap altcoins because the gains are bigger. And then with those profits, they roll it back into Bitcoin. So their main goal could be just accumulate Bitcoin or accumulate Ethereum. And if that's your plan, you want to trade other stuff that could outperform them so you can buy them with your profits.
Right. Yeah. So compounding is the name of the game. So that's what we have to focus on, guys. That's what we're eyes on the prize for that. What's up, Unstoppable Bulls? Raw Food Rider, make price go up, please. Oh, that's why I wore my bearish red dress, because it's time to buy the dip now. But really, I mean, really what we're talking about here is strategies to buy the dip, because like I said before, generally bull market dips are for buying. Now, whether you buy it now or you wait, you're leverage trading, you want to time the perfect entry, you're scaling in for long-term holds. Just keep that in mind. You want to buy when others are fearful. And when they're thinking that a massive crash is going to happen and nobody's going to want to buy, that's the time, right? Not trying to chase those big green candles. So ETH Sol charts is Unstoppable Bull. Sounds interesting. Yeah, measuring the ETH Sol ratio. Let's see if we have time to pull that up. Sold my ETH and bought Solana. Okay. Brian, I don't know, man. I staked it in Phantom. See, that's the game that I was worried about back when people were saying that they were dumping one for the other. I personally just hold my ETH. I let my ETH ride, and then I'll trade to compound that ETH. But yeah, I mean, everybody has their own strategy. Like Trip was saying, depending on which one looks like it's ready to outperform the other, you might want to get in one versus the other. But your long-term strategy, you can stack and hold base with some of those gains, right, Trip? I mean, what would you recommend there?
Yeah, that's pretty much what you're doing. You're just, if you have a plan that you want to fulfill, then you have to make that plan accordingly. You just don't want to be trading without a plan, essentially. So if your plan is just to hold all the way through, then trading might be something you'd be considering so you can make extra gains, make it more profitable. Really, it's just, you're not just learning how to trade, you're learning how to read the charts so you can make better investing decisions. And that's really what it's all about.
Right. Okay, so hi-fi or hippie. Trip likes to say hippie. I say hi-fi. I don't know. Wi-Fi. So I mean, like, this one pumps when it pumps, right? And potentially we're getting a chance to buy this pullback here. What are we looking at for hi-fi?
Right. So this was a request from one of the members. So we're looking for this breakout of this double bottom that was the smaller pattern down here. We needed to see a break above this level and to hold it. And then we had a quick pump and then it couldn't hold that level. But now we've pulled back to these critical support levels that are all lining up in this area. So you have this dotted line as a horizontal support. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Get it nice and big. right? So from this previous top, this is now acting as the support locally. You have the 200 MA just below it, and I believe that's the 4-hour 200 MA, and the point of control is also acting as support below the level. So you have 3 bullish ideas that it's holding above right now, or 3 critical supports that it's holding above. So actually the setup that we had posted for in the group is just to accumulate inside of this green box. And then your entry would be if it breaks below these levels that it's trying to hold as support. If we take a quick measurement, you'd have to be willing to sacrifice this much of a loss in order to make those bigger gains. So you could estimate about 10% is what you're willing to risk, but the upside potential, again, for this pattern, once we zoom back out, you're still trading at this large double bottom and you're buying the pullback to support here, and you're aiming to take profit at the top of this range way up here at the top. So you risk 10% to make over 212% or so. And that's what we're trying to do is you try to find trades that are, you'll make 3 to 4 times more than you could potentially lose in that setup.
Right. So that's not a bad risk reward ratio, if you ask me. And yeah, so that's interesting. And Trip, like, just for those who are wanting to look to leverage trade versus spot trade, what would you recommend on this kind of setup?
For this one, I probably wouldn't recommend the setup for this one because it's fairly low liquidity on the futures platforms for the exchanges that we use.
Right.
So your position size wouldn't be very big. It just has, there's a limited amount that it'll even let you buy, I should say.
Right.
So this is probably better off as a spot trade. If you're going to trade it with leverage, then I wouldn't use more than $1,000 with 10x. I mean, that's pretty much the high threshold that this kind of trade will allow.
Right. So it's important to keep that in mind too, as you're looking to get positioned on this dip. Brian says he used a bit of spending money, ETH, bit of my spending money from ETH to buy Vision. Blame Ran. Yeah, I know there's a lot of altcoins being discussed on YouTube and Twitter and everywhere else. And that's all good, but like there's so many things that you need to look for when you're getting into a trade after you've seen it on YouTube, which is what we're trying to explain and kind of like get deeper involved with here on this channel. Like, okay, you heard about a coin. What do you look for? What do you do? How do you get into that trade? There's so many things that come after the recommendation that you find, right? So that's what we're trying to help you hone in on in this channel, and most importantly in the group, and give you those good entries and those good breakout setups. So yeah, just keep that in mind. James says, thanks, Trip. This has been unpredictable. This one has been unpredictable for me. So you're talking about this bull run, this dip, but glad that you're okay. Hi-fi chart. Got it. Right. Yeah. I imagine the pump and then the big correction afterwards.
The volatility, yeah.
Right.
So this is another request from the group as well. This is AI16Z on the one-day chart. There's not really a whole lot to report on this one. We posted the setup in the group that we were waiting for a break above this trend line, and it's not really a big surprise. It's still rolling over it as it stays below that trend line. Again, there's not really much to say here. You could set an alert on this trend line for an entry. As far as entering inside of the pattern, I'd be a little cautious about that. Potentially still too, there is a bearish idea. So you could draw in a descending triangle. It doesn't quite have a flat bottom. It doesn't line up too well for that idea. So it's about 50-50 whether or not that's going to play out that way, or if we're going to break above that trend line. So as it stands right now, I don't really have much more to go by it. If we zoom into maybe the 4-hour chart, we might get some better clues, but it really doesn't tell me a whole lot. Really, we just want to maintain that this support holds. You don't want to start making lower lows below these two lows. But right now, it does look like you had a bit of a double top that's been playing out. Maybe this turns into a falling wedge of some kind. In my opinion, it's still a little too early to consider a longer term move, but you might be able to buy this pullback and just trade it within a tight range here if you wanted to do some short term trading. But as it looks right now, it's not really something I'd want to buy into. I'd rather see maybe another double bottom that forms over here. That's something I would be considering getting into. Or if it does make a lower low, I'd be looking for some high time frame bullish divergences. But without those key things, I probably just wouldn't trade this and look for something else.
See, this is what I like. This is the alpha that matters, right? Like if you're looking at different sources and channels and things, and they're giving you levels, the levels are great, but like what happens with that entry? What are the things, the conditions, right? Oversold, bullish divergence. There's so many things that you can look at beyond just that level that will make your trading next level. Not to use too many levels, but you know what I mean? Like this is the juice right here. So this is good, really good.
Right, and the last one we had from the group was Pangu to cover. So this is another one that looks, it's bearish at the moment. This is the 4-hour 200 MA. I know I have the 2-hour labeled at the top here. This is the 2-hour chart with the 4-hour 200 MA. So I wanted to see where the 4-hour was, and now we've just broken below that 4-hour 200 MA. Previously, was holding as support since way back here. We didn't even have a test of it until about this day, yesterday, I guess, in August. So really, it's just you're looking for this support to hold. Potentially, you might have a short opportunity coming. Again, this is all going to be dependent on what Bitcoin's going to do next, but you could consider this is a double top idea, and you're looking for a break below the point of control or this gray support zone as your entry for a short. As far as the upside potential goes, you would just need to see a bounce here. So you could trade it both ways, essentially. If you were going to go long, you would have to enter on the support, but manage your risk. So if we put if we put a long position here just to see what that would look like, potentially the move to the upside is about the top of the range. And then you're risking about 6% or so if you were to go long. And then the same thing, you'd do the same idea if you're going to go short. You would wait for that break below support and then just do your short target or your short position tool. And it would look something like this, just the same. So you'd have your critical level to hold, and then just down to the first target. That's about a 20% move, and you'd be risking about 6 to 7%, pretty much the same risk either direction in order to make those profits, depending on which way it goes. But again, as it looks right now, it's not something I would enter in this moment. I would like to see some price action structure forming. You can see back here, really the things that we're looking for is for trend change ideas on the price action. So you had a low, and then a lower low, and then over here you got that higher low before it started trending higher. So maybe you see the same kind of thing as what we'd be looking for. It's at least that change of trend, right? That low to the lower low to the higher low idea. And until you see that, you're really just guessing to see if it's going to hold that support or not.
Right. Yeah, no, I like this. I like that we can trade it both up or down, make money both ways. That's what this skill allows you to do, is to make money in any given market condition. And once you learn these skills, you'll be able to do so. And we do post long and short setups in the group, as well as long-term holds, accumulation zones, all different types of trades to satisfy all different types of investors and traders, right? So we can help you along with your journey, whatever that may be, to win. So Brian says Pangu was an amazing airdrop. It is true. We are spoiled in crypto. We are used to big airdrops, and so I think that's the reason people were frustrated. Also, a little bit with Midnight is it wasn't one of those gargantuan airdrops. Is more geared toward mainstream and getting more holders and more wallets involved and things like that. But yeah, Pangu, they've done an incredible thing in that they've been able to form such a tight knit community. I remember I was just shopping around in OpenSea, and I was just looking to buy the dip, and I actually ended up sniping a little pudgy that was full of coins. So yeah, I got that airdrop from that, and it's fun. It's fun. We'll be getting to OpenSea at some point. Don't forget about that. Like, it will be airdrop season. We're not there yet. We're not even confirming alt season yet. We're just about to enter the beginning of markup phase, as Trip refers to it, and I like it to be referred to that way, just because we have so many smaller phases within the bigger cycle, right? So Jeremy, I was smiling before because he's coming in hot with the psychological, philosophical questions. If you could hold only one alt for the next decade, what would it be? I mean, I think that the only financially responsible, or the only responsible answer would be to hold Bitcoin, right? I mean, that's the one that's been around the longest. It's tried, true, decentralized digital gold. Okay, fine. But if it had to be an altcoin outside of Ethereum and outside of Bitcoin, I don't know, man. I mean, I am a big Cardano fan, so I don't know. Maybe I'd go with that one. What would you go with, Jeremy? I'd like to know what you guys would go with, just to have a little fun on this Thursday live, as we're getting a little bit silly because it's later, and why not? DC the dude. Yeah, okay. So, wow. So another question here, you could only hold one alt for the next 2 years. Which one do you pick? 5 years. Okay, so we're going up. We're going up. Wow, okay, we're taking this up another level. Oh man. You know, Bitcoin is the hedge, right? Like, I've seen so many portfolios that have weathered the storm because they hold a huge percentage in Bitcoin, and then they dip their toes in the altcoins, and they have smaller allocations to those, right? And that's really the way to go. But if you want to learn how to trade, then that's not the trifecta, the double whammy, where you have your long-term holds and then you use your trades to compound on that. So I know, Richard, I know it's been a thing. ADA has no revenue, no traffic. People say that. Charles Hoskinson would say differently. I see what's happening under the hood, and I have the talks with him and with his team and stuff. And I just feel like good things take time to build. So, I know that I'm on the other side of a lot of those arguments there, but I'm looking for the horses to win the long-term race. And I just want to say that Amazon corrected, I think like up to 80 to 90% in its first 10 years of existence. And had massive volatility before it became, the fourth or fifth largest company in the world in this case. So yeah, sometimes things take time. And if they're looking to be the DeFi layer of Bitcoin and to do all those things, there's so many things. I don't know. I won't get deeper into this discussion, but yeah, that's just my thoughts. So I think for ADA, 10 years. All right, Brian, I'm with you on that. 2 years for Solana. Yeah, Sol will probably make it through. I mean, man, they weathered the storm of $10, right? Like they were fudded out. They were the FUD of the century there, and they made it through. And the community's strong and it's fast. I think they'll push through. Theta and T-Fuel are my picks for 5 years and a decade. Yeah, I mean, Theta on the infrastructure side is looking phenomenal. I must say, it's looking really good. Solana, says Richard, Cardano plus ETH will be the best combo to accumulate during the winter. I would agree with you on that. Amazon is partnered with Theta, yeah, and basically Theta is looking to be the AWS, the blockchain, right? So potentially, yeah, I'm loving this philosophical discussion, guys. I'm loving it. Let's check back in 10 years and see where we are. But if you're in this space now, rest assured, you're setting yourself up for massive success that most of the world is not, because most of the world doesn't even know what Bitcoin is or what it does, right? So just marinate on that. As you're sitting here, spending your time tuning into our lives, putting your energy into this now, because it will pay off and you're doing the hard thing. And I'm proud of you. That's it. Great answers, everyone. I would agree, Jeremy. And back to you, Trip.
Great. Yeah, this is excuse me. This is one of the requests that we had at the beginning of the show, ZBCN. So we're going to take a look at this on the 12-hour chart, and it looks like the 200 MA on the 12-hour. This is the 4-hour 200 MA, actually, that's holding local support here at pretty much the same level as your 0.5. So it does look like a big sim triangle is forming. These patterns can break to the upside. This is 50 chance of breaking to the upside or to the downside. So as long as it stays within this pattern, I'd say it looks fine. Really, you want to see that 200 MA hold locally. Otherwise, you're probably going to come down to test that lower trend line again. The key thing to watch for as far as a breakout is this upper trend line or the break above the 0.786, which is its recent high, and that's at about 0.0059. The upside targets that we're looking at, you could go as high as the 2.0 at 0.011, the 1.618 at about 0.0096, and the 1.272 at about 0.0081. But really, yeah, this is a bilateral pattern. It could break to the upside or downside. So you're going to need a lot more structure to fill in this empty space, or you're just waiting for that break above the resistance.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So potentially buying on the bottom of the pattern. That's what I'd be looking to, right? And we might not get that, but those are my favorite types of buys here on these types of patterns. So maybe we'll get that opportunity here for ZBCN. So yeah, that's looking good. I know we had a few other requests here, a few for Cardano and one for Theta and T-Fuel. I think we did Theta and T-Fuel yesterday, but did we do that, Trip? Or very recently?
Yeah, just recently, yep. And ADA we just covered as well.
Right.
I can see if I can find the ADA chart that I have.
Right.
It'll just take me a moment here.
And just as he's looking for the ADA, Theta and T-Fuel are more or less, we've been saying that there are some of the coins that have not had that massive run yet this season. So they're closer to ground level, right? And that's what I'll say about that. So if you're looking to get like a long-term position and things, that's what ADA and T-Fuel are looking at. They're still accumulating near their lower levels. And so, yeah, I have been accumulating a little bit more on these dips, and they're looking good, guys. It just got to be patient. Got to wait for structure to build here. But let's see. So we had a question about Cardano. How low could it go? Like limbo?
Yeah, we can take a look at ADA here. So in the trading group, we had posted the breakout of this falling wedge. So we had a 36% profit up to this key resistance level at $1. So that dollar mark is a very psychological resistance level for ADA. It's not a big surprise that we've seen this pullback or people taking profits. And that's all a pullback is, right? Is people are taking profits on a trade where they're expecting where the price should move and what everyone else should be looking at for that profit taking zone. So $1 was pretty much tapped almost perfectly here. So for ADA, what we're looking for now is there's a bit of a support zone. I'm not too confident in this zone right now, but we do have some wicks forming down here. Really what you want to do is you want to see a flip and hold of this support level at 91 cents or so. Right now, it's only at about 90 cents. It's not much of a difference, but it could be the move that changes the structure here if we're not able to hold it. What you don't want to see is a bearish retest of this level, because then ADA could come down and test this next support at about 83 to 84 cents. So right now, it's still a bit of a waiting game to see how it's going to react, but if you do get a bounce on this level and reclaim that 91 cent mark, then we're just going to assume that these next targets are going to be hit on the way up, and this is just a pullback along the way.
Right, that's it. That's it. Oh, we got one last request. Let's see here. Automatic PHB Phoenix Global. Is that a stock or a crypto?
So that's Phoenix.
Like it's a crypto. Okay, Phoenix. Okay, that's
pretty sure this is an AI crypto as well.
Well, that should do pretty interestingly when the AI coins start to pick up again.
Right. Let's see what kind of structure. Kind of looks like an ascending triangle-ish. I'm going to see how well that fits if I draw it in here. It's not a perfect flat top. Maybe we can make it pretty close. And we'll see if a lower trend line fits in here nicely. So about to there and to here. So yeah, an ascending triangle does fit the idea so far. Maybe you could look for an entry on this lower trend line. I don't like the way the structure looks inside of this pattern and the fact that it's below the 200 MA. This is the one-day 200 MA. So the fact that you've tried to break above it twice and it's failed 2 times, it's not the best bullish idea so far. Zoomed in here, if we go down to the, well, maybe the 4-hour chart will be enough to see it. You can see a bit of a double top forming here as well. So it's, again, you're breaking lower from a smaller time frame pattern, but you do have a higher time frame pattern for this lower trend line support. So again, it's kind of iffy right now with entering positions in this moment. The market could still bounce. It could still go lower. Really, you're just looking for that bounce on the trend line before opening a position. And when I say a bounce, I don't just mean like one green candle. You'd want to zoom into like the 15-minute chart, and then you're looking for maybe a double bottom. You want to see some kind of structure forming on there. Otherwise, you're just basing your trade on hoping that this yellow trend line is going to hold. And again, that might be fine if you don't mind managing your risk. So the downside move, if you were to enter on this trend line in this area or so, you'd want to have it below this previous low or below the pattern so far. So about 11%, maybe you can get away with like a 7% stop loss. You don't want to get wicked out too soon. So I like to give it a little extra room, and usually below the previous low as extra safety. So yeah, as it looks right now, I'm not too confident in that structure, but it's definitely one you'd want to pay attention to over the next few days to see if you get bounces in this area. And then I would feel more confident about entering into the ascending triangle pattern.
Right. And yeah, I like what you pointed out about like a bounce isn't just one single green candle and let's go, right? That's not what a bounce is. And there's more that goes into it than that. So I like tips number 7 today. I don't know. I lost count already, but that's a good thing to consider as well when you're trying to get in at the bottom of these trend lines and patterns.
Right.
So, yeah. So we got another Theta guy in a house. Wojciech Olinsky. Are you Polish? Oh, Solinsky. My actual given last name is Pliski. I'm also Polish, so let me know. I don't know. That's fun. Should we just end with Theta trip? Should we do it? Should we give the Theta people some satisfaction here?
I don't know if it's done a whole lot. Like, we've been updating a daily chart, so we're basically updating every candle at this point, right?
Yeah. I mean, it is more of the same, guys. It's sort of like wait and see. Theta is like one of the coins that hasn't run as hard as others in this cycle. So potentially when it does break out, it's got a lot more room to run. But we're just having a look. They're ground level entries right now is basically what we've been saying. Ground level entries. So more or less, right? Accumulation zones, so to speak. So
Yeah,
yeah, I think, yeah.
I can pull it up just to show, but really we are just
Yeah.
looking at one candle at a time here. Give me a
That's how
second
many
to
Theta people we have on the show.
well, they want to see
It's a
constant
sponsor,
updates
so.
on Theta. But
Yeah.
this is the thing too. Theta's not a large cap necessarily. Like it's sort of a large cap. In my opinion, it's more of a mid cap altcoin. So it might be a little later in the cycle before it decides to run, while all the other larger market cap coins move first. So here I'll bring it over.
Yeah,
Let me
so just
find
be
it.
patient with Theta, guys, because it is a good point that Trip makes as well. It's not one of these like higher caps, so to speak. It gets there. It's made it to the top 10 in bull runs, but like in the top 5 even, I think, at one point. But don't quote me on that. I don't know exactly, but it's not right now, right? So it might take a little longer than, your H bars, your XRPs, Cardanos, that sort of thing.
Right, yeah. So right now on Theta, nothing's really happened. We're still waiting for that break above local resistance. We have mentioned, excuse me, that if you do get a chance to enter on this support, then that could be an accumulation entry. The way it looks right now, though, it hasn't really done a whole lot. So probably just setting alerts if you wanted to at this local resistance at around $1. Same resistance number psychologically as ADA. So Theta, ADA, both $1 resistance is what you're aiming for to break next.
There's quite a few coins with that dollar resistance. Proppy too, Pro is one of them. Proppy has been moving quite a bit lately. That's a company that I've been working with, and advising for. And it's one of my top long-term holds as far as RWA. They're bringing property rights on chain, and it's been pumping lately. So some of these the lower caps do have their moments, right? But we're just looking for the break above that 200-day MA in a lot of cases, and just for them to start holding those bullish structures on higher time frames, right? So yeah, have patience with Theta. Theta will do its thing. I'm confident about that. Mitch and the team are working really hard in the background to make that possible. And infrastructure, picks and shovels. It's a classic play, right? And so that's like why it's one of my pillars in my portfolio, my long-term portfolio as well. So yeah, I think with that, guys, man, we for an impromptu live, we've done quite a good job. We even strategized for 10 years down the road on this live. So it's been a real fun show. We hope you enjoyed the alpha that Trip has given and the different tips about how to get into these trades. If you want to take it up a notch, the link is in the description below. You've got 6 more days of our flash sale, 20% off. So if you're on the fence, just take the leap, bet on yourself. That's all I have to say. And yeah, Trip, what do you say? Any last words before we end the stream today?
Yeah, I think just be patient for now. They always say buy the dip. I say buy the dip with signals. So if you don't have any of those strong signals, I don't just blindly buy a dip. I'd like to see some structure forming, maybe some divergences, oversold conditions. I mean, Bitcoin's oversold on the 1 hour chart right now. The 4 hour is about halfway or closer to 40% or so. So you have mixed signals at the moment. Not enough of a signal where I'd be willing to put my money on it. And that's the point, is you want to put your money into a strong trade. You don't want to risk unnecessarily. So really just waiting for those signals is the key thing right now.
All right, so buy the dip with the signals intact. That's the second placement of the word. Okay, Almanim, I see you're asking about Prom. We're going to note that down for tomorrow because you are a regular listener, so we're going to try to make that happen for tomorrow. Now, tomorrow is Friday. Our Friday live streams, they're a lot of fun, so tune in. I'll probably be having an all-time high vodka with you guys on the stream. So, yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow, guys. Do tune in. Get your requests ready. Try to get them to us at the beginning of the stream so maybe we can get those charts up throughout. And good pronunciation of the last name. Okay, good. I didn't get your first name right, but Osolinsky, I think I did. And it's good to have you on the show, man. It's been great to have you all on the show. We've really, really had a lot of fun with you guys throughout these past weeks. We've been live every single day, Monday through Friday. And yeah, tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. PST, 12:30 p.m. EST. Pull up for lunch or breakfast or whatever you're doing. And yeah, let's wrap this week up strong and have a wonderful Thursday evening. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.